I met William Bonin May 23rd, 1980. I was a male prostitute in the city of Hollywood. And he picked me up hitchhiking and took me to his house. And you can continue asking questions if that would help.
How old?
How old were you at the time?
I was 18 years old.
That's crazy.
Because I was born June 17th. I was born June 17th, 1961. So at the time of the offense, I was 18 years old.
So when he picked you up, did he just pick you up, or did he like lure you with like wanting to like do some type of drug or something like that, or?
No, he just picked me up. He just picked me up and asked me if I wanted to have, am I looking for a place to stay? And I told him, yes, I'm trying to find a place to stay. And he says, well, I'm looking for a roommate for the weekend. And I said, well, who do you live with? And he said, I live with my mom and dad, or my mom and my brothers, and my dad is in a VA hospital, but he comes home on weekends. So I thought the guy was going to be okay and safe. So I said, okay, I'll come home with you. So I spent the weekend with him at his house.
Who else was there?
Who else was there?
Huh?
Okay, say that again, Andrew.
Did you say who else was there, Amy?
Yeah, because he said that other people were going to be, going to be coming back. But was that true, or were there other people there? Because I know he had other accomplices.
Yeah, he had accomplices. One was the name of Vernon Butts, and one was an accomplice by the name of Gregory Miley, and one was an accomplice by the name of William Ray Pugh, and then Eric Wojcicki, I believe it's pronounced, and that was it. Other than, of course, here I sit today. Yes.
So tell us about the crime that you were a part of, which is why you are sitting where you are today. Which was the final crime, correct, of the series of the Freeway unalivings?
Yes, the Freeway underlining case. Yes, what happened was he picked up a hitchhiker on the way home from work, and because he wanted to give a guy a ride. So while we were going down the road, he pulled over and picked him up. When he picked him up, then he got him in the van. He opened the door, and the young man by the name of Stephen Wells got into the van on his own and then closed the door, and he was 18 years old, same as me. And he asked him, where are you going? And he says, down the road to my apartment, about a mile and a half down the road. So he said, okay, I'll just take you there. So then he said, while we were driving, hey, what do you think of bisexual? What do you think of gays? And he said, oh, they're okay because I'm bisexual. So he said, really? Would you like to come over to my house or share? This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. So then he said, oh, I'll just come over to your guys' house. So then he said, okay, fine. So Bill Bonin drove him to Bill Bonin's home at 10282 and Jail Street in the city of Downey. So we pulled into his home, and when we pulled into his home, we went inside, and he gave me $5 to go to the store to get some hamburgers. So I had a little road map how to get to the store and back to his house. So I pulled back out of the driveway, and then when I pulled out, I was going down the road, and the police officer pulled me over and asked me for my license because I was in the middle of the road because I dropped some 8-track tapes on the dashboard. So I told him, I don't have a driver's license. I have a learner's permit. He goes, no, that's not no good. Take it back to the house. So I turned the van around and went back to his house, And I told him what happened. He said, well, we'll go to the store later. So then he wanted to know if I wanted to come in and have fun, having fun with SA. So I said, no, I'm not into that. I'm just going to go in the TV room and watch TV. So he says, come on in later. So I went in the living room and turned on TV called Happy Days, and I'm watching TV. Then Bonin came out and said, hey, follow me into the bedroom. So he said, okay, hey, how would you like to make $200? And the guy says, yeah, how? He says, I know a guy that likes to tie people up and have SA. So he says, oh, I'm into that. You guys can pay me $200 for that. So he goes, okay, I'll have the friend come over. So then Bill Bonin goes into the kitchen, gets a clothesline rope, comes back out, and hog ties him. When he hog ties him, he lays him on his side. When he lays him on his side, he goes and takes his clothing and goes start going through it. And the guy goes, hey, this ain't your guys' house, is it? He says, no, we broke into it, which he told the young man a lie. So then he says, look, I'm just going to knock you out, put your clothes back on you, and put you in a park bench somewhere. So I said, oh, thank God he's not going to hurt him at all. Good. So then he takes a T-shirt and puts it around the guy's neck and strangles him. Now, he tells me while he's doing that to hold his legs. I said, hey, I don't want to do that. I don't want to touch him. I don't want to touch him at all. So he says, you're not going to get in no trouble. Just go ahead and do it for me. So I said, okay, as long as I don't get in no trouble. So I held his leg for 5 minutes. And then he said, okay, you can let go. So I let go, and I go, okay, now what? So he flips him over, and he's blue. And I says, why is he blue? And he says, because he's dead. I go, what do you mean he's dead? He goes, yeah, he's dead. I go, well, what are you going to do now? He goes, I'm just going to wait till dark, pick him up, put him in the van, and drive him, put him behind a mobile gas station. So he waited till dark. He tells me, here, help me put him in the van. I said, I don't want to touch him. So he goes, you're not going to get no trouble. You're not going to get no trouble. Just do this for me. I go, okay, as long as I don't get no trouble. So I help him put it in the van, and he closes the door. We drive behind a mobile gas station, and he puts him behind a mobile gas station. We get back in. We drive back to his house, and then he says, he says, he don't answer the phone. So he answers the phone, and he tells me, turn the TV on. I turn the TV on, and it says, Freeway Killer strikes again, claiming his 45th victim. I go, and uh-oh. And I turn my head, and he starts laughing. He goes, you really didn't know what was going on, did you? I go, no, why? He goes, I'm the Freeway Killer. I go, oh, my God, what are you going to do now? So he says, don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. Just do what I say, and you're going to be fine. I go, okay, what do I do? He goes, we're going to bed tonight. Tomorrow you act like normal. I go, okay, I won't tell nobody. Just let me call my mom and say goodbye to her. If you're going to kill me, let me call my mom and say goodbye. And I started crying. He goes, I'm not going to kill you right now. You're too important to me, but if you ever want to call the police, I will. I said, okay, I won't say nothing. So then about the next day, when he goes to work, I steal his car and I go back to Michigan. And I hide in my cousin's house. He goes into Hollywood again, tries to do another one on his own, and then he gets arrested. So then he tells the police that I was with him when he did it. And then they extradited me back to California to stand trial. That's what happened to me.
Wow. Had he met any of the other
I didn't
accomplices?
know. What?
Had you
Andrew.
met
What
any of the other accomplices?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. I met them in LA County Jail. I never knew
Oh,
them at
wow.
all. I met them in the LA County Jail.
So you never knew that
But Andrew,
prior to everything that went down?
no, never, ever. No, this was the first time I ever did something wrong in my life, and I didn't know what I didn't think I was going to get in any trouble. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I thought I was going to be okay. But then when I went back to Michigan and they brought me back out, you have 60 seconds remaining. When he interviewed me, I asked them, they said, tell me everything you want to know, we need to know about the bond. And I said, well, can I go home after you tell us what we want to know? I go, okay, I'll tell you what happened. And I told them, but I thought I was going to get released. I didn't know I was going to get in trouble. Let me call you right back because we got 15 seconds.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So at the time you were helping Bonin, right? Were you under the influence of anything?
I was scared. I didn't want to get killed. I was afraid of him. He tied me up that night. He says that night after the murder. I mean, after the essay. I'm not essay, but after the that night after the
Unaliving?
after the underlining happened. After the underlining happened that night. He turned the light bulbs off in the bedroom. When I turned them back on, he goes, "What's the matter?" I go, "I think you're gonna kill me." He goes, "Don't worry, let me prove to you I didn't. I'm not going to." I go, "How?" He goes, "Let me tie you up." So I let him do it, and he tied me up, and he says, "Right now I can kill you, and you can't do nothing about it." I said, "Later." And I start crying. I go, "Let me call my mom and say goodbye to her." And he started laughing, and he goes, "Look, I'm not gonna kill you right now because you're too important to me. But if you ever run or call the police, I will. If I can't, my co-defendants will." I was so scared of him that I didn't want to die. I was terrified of him. And I didn't want to. He says he told me I could never ever leave his side. So when he went to work, I had to be with him at work. When we came back to the house, I had to be back at him at the house. I couldn't get away with him. And then he worked at the Dependable Driveway Trucking Company in Montebello. And then one day he had a run to make. They told him, "Hey, deliver a truck on the road." So they told me to stay at the office. I finally got a break, and the minute he took off, I stole his car. I stole his car and I hid, and I went back to Michigan, and that's how I got away from him. Can you repeat that one more time, please?
Did he ever tell you the reason he did what he did to all these men?
Yeah, he told me that he didn't want to go back to prison, so he said he didn't want to leave the witnesses behind.
What was he in prison for previously?
SA.
Wow.
So he
So
was.
did you say 45th, by the way?
Yeah, it said on the news. It said on the news 45th victim, but then when the police went through all the cases and everything, they dropped it down to 21 victims out of 45. It was 21.
Right, I know victims. I know that Bonin's suspected of many more, but they couldn't really pin them on him.
Right, they suspect him of doing a lot more, very much more, but they couldn't prove it. Right.
Did he ever admit to anything, or did he take it to trial? I can't remember all that.
He didn't. He just told me. He just told me that he did them all but one, but he never went into elaborate details of any of them that he did. He just said, "I did them all but one. I did every one of them but one."
When you say that, do you mean the all but the 45? So the 44 he claims.
Yeah, he said he did them all. He said, I don't know what he meant by that. All I know is that was what he said. He said, "I did them all but one." So whatever, and that I couldn't understand what he was talking about. Whether it was all 45 or 21 or whatever it was, I don't know. All I know is he just made that statement, just saying, "Oh, I did them all but one." And I'm like, wow, okay, because because the news had broadcasted and said Freeway Killer strikes again, claiming his 45th victim. And he goes, I did them all but one. I go, all but one? And then and that's when he says, you really don't know what's going on, do you? And I go, no. He goes, I'm the Freeway Killer. I go, oh my God, that's the guy. You're the one that's going around. And I didn't know. So, yeah. And I was only 18 years old. I was very scared. And then when I went to court, I went over to municipal court. I was given an attorney at the time of Madeline Gail Koppel, K-O-P-P-L-E. Now, she didn't want to be taken off the case, but she was thrown off the case. I don't know why, but she was removed off the case in municipal court, and the judge at the time told her, I know that boy is not guilty, but it's a sad, sad case. And then I got bound over to Superior Court. Now, when I got bound over to Superior Court, Judge Everett Ricks was so biased and prejudicial against me. When I was I got to Superior Court. An attorney by the name of James Allen Goldstein from Van Nuys came down to that county jail that night with my files and said, if you don't go into court tomorrow morning and testify against William Bonin, I'm going to take these files and give them to mainline inmates, and you're going to be hurt real bad. I go, I just don't have me hurt. I'll do whatever you want. I'll do whatever you want. So I go to court, and I'm forced to plead guilty to a second-degree murder. They didn't tell me that 15 years to life was a life sentence. They said 10 years before, and I'd be eligible for parole. So under my understanding, I thought after 10 years I was going to be released. I only have a 7th grade education level as of right now. When I was tested, I had an IQ of 70 when I was tested in LA County Jail, and my IQ hasn't changed. I still got tested, and I still have a 7th grade level, education level. And I had to pay somebody to get me a high school diploma so I can get a job to make spending money. I don't know, my math, all I can do is add, subtract, multiply, and divide. That's as far as it goes. But anything else, no, I can't do it. But I didn't know what I was pleading guilty to, because I honestly thought in my mind that 15 years old, I spent 10 years and I'd be out so I could go home to my mom and dad in the state of Michigan, where I'm from. I had no idea, and they didn't even tell me that 15 life was, if you go and plead guilty, you're going to do a life sentence in prison. If they would have said those words, I'd have never pled guilty in my life. I don't care. They could beat me up all they wanted, and I would have still took it. So that when I went to court on sentencing, I played with the judge. I said, Your Honor, I want to withdraw my plea. And it's on my sentencing transcript. I want to withdraw my plea. I want a jury trial. I'm not guilty. And judge goes, that's ridiculous. All those motions are denied. We have all the bodies here, and you certainly participated in it. So I'm just going to deny the motion. And if you interrogate me anymore, I'm going to make sure that you get the death penalty, and I don't have a problem sending you there. That's what Judge Everett Ricks said to me. Now, if you look at the newspaper clippings on Everett Ricks, you're going to find out that he was placed in a mental institution right after I was sentenced, and he was also convicted of shoplifting, and he was placed in a mental institution, and he beat up his wife. That is in the newspaper clippings before he died in 1989. If you read them, I think Amy saw some of those clippings.
I did.
See? Okay, there you go. And she can attest to exactly what she saw about Judge Ricks. Yeah, it's bad. So I never, ever did get a fair trial. Now, today, February 11th, coming up, I have what you call an evidentiary hearing coming up, where now the LA County Superior Court, Department 120, Judge Shelley Tabella is... This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. Now, evidentiary hearing is she's going to look at all the transcripts of my testimony and everything in court and everything, and they're going to have me on the stand by video conferencing where they're going to, is for resentencing, and they have to figure out, was I responsible for the underlying offense or not, because I didn't do it. So if I didn't do that, then under SB 1437, the Accomplice Act, they cannot convict you of the underlying offense. They have to sentence you to a lesser term if you read that law. And now the judge on February 11th is going to be hearing this case. Now, I have an attorney appointed to me. I barely ever get in contact with this guy. I barely talk to him. But his name is Aaron Lubb, L-A-U-B. And he's out of what is his city? But anyways, look him up in California. You'll be able to track him down. Aaron Jacob Lubb is his name. But he's my appointed attorney, and he's representing me on this.
So Tina, yeah. So Tina, did Bill ever talk about? I know you never met the co-defendants before you all were arrested, but did he talk about how much participation each of them played in all of the crimes?
No, actually, he did not. He just told me that all he told me the night of that happening was that he had co-defendants, and he says it was Greg, Billy, Greg, Vern, and me, and you, and Eric. That's all he said. He just named names of the co-defendants. That's all he did.
So Eric's a new name to me. I've never heard that name in this case.
Eric Wahonitz. What happened was, Eric Wahonitz, what happened with him was he was charged with Harry Todd Turner, and then what happened was Bill Bonin told the police that he was not responsible for it, so they let him free. They didn't charge him. They let him go. And they charged Billy Ray Pugh for that one. So he got away with it for some oddball reason, and they let him out, and then he was free. He was Bill Bonin's lover. So he lived with him in his house for a long time, and then let him out. So he wanted him free. And then when he finally got out of jail, we never heard anything more about him. But apparently, from what the papers had stated, that he wasn't responsible, so there was no charge from the district attorney's office ever charged him with it. It was Billy Ray Pugh that was charged for that murder. He was charged for the underlying offense.
So Eric, he never went to prison or did a day in jail, anything like that.
No, he didn't. Right? No, he didn't. And from what I understand, all of them are all passed away now. Eric's supposed to be passed away. William Ray Pugh's supposed to be passed away now. Greg Miley's have passed away now. Vernon Butts has passed away now. I'm the only one left.
Right.
Have you ever heard about how Ken Bianchi was the celly back then? That's for you, Andrew.
Yeah, Kenneth Bianchi.
Yeah, he was the celly back then.
Yeah, back in the LA County Jail. Yes.
Who was he cellies with? Was he cellies with Bonin?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Tina, Bianchi was your cellmate in the county jail?
Yeah, LA County Jail. Yes.
For how long?
I was his celly for a couple of days, and then they moved me back to us. You have 60 seconds remaining. But he was a good celly. He was all right. He was a good celly. I liked him. He was all right.
That's interesting. Did either of you talk about your crimes?
No. We never. That's one thing we never did. That's one thing we never got a chance to. Do you want me to call you right back?
Yeah. Call right back.
Okay, hi, I'm back. Okay.
All right, all right.
Back.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting that Ken was your cellmate at one point. That's how old both of these cases are, which they're way older than I am.
Yeah, and then also my other roommate at the time was Roy Norris.
Oh, really? That's
Oh,
crazy.
Bittaker's
Roy
co-defendant.
Norris was my bunkie, my roommate for a month.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. I met Bittaker a month before he passed away when I was visiting another serial offender there on
Right.
San Quentin.
Yeah. Roy Norris passed away too. Yeah, but he was my roommate for about a month.
Did he ever talk about his crimes? Because I know they were pretty brutal.
Yeah, he did. He told me elaborate details of what he did. Yes.
Was he like bragging about it?
Yes, he was. He said Bittaker had pliers and he was torturing women and stuff with pliers, and he had a soundproof van, and that he picked them up, and he said it was so cold blooded that actually a California Highway Patrol car was sitting right next to him in the van, and a woman was screaming while they were torturing him in the van. That's how close they were to each other, and they couldn't even hear it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's one of the worst cases I think like ever.
Yeah. Yes, I know it.
Were you scared of Roy when he was your cellmate? Like, were you like intimidated?
Yes, I was very much so, because he was way bigger than I was. I was like 110 pounds, let's say, and he was like 250, 260 pounds. Yeah, so he was quite large.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
So
who else has she crossed paths with?
What'd she say?
Who else have you crossed paths with since being in prison in California? I'm sure you've met a lot of people, being there's so many high profile inmates in California since back then too.
Yeah, I had met. Let me see. It was Randy Kraft. He was on death row, and he was, in fact, he's in Chino right now.
Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, I know that they've been moving all the death row inmates to different prisons throughout California.
Right. But I met him. One time in LA County Jail. Yes.
Why are they moving them?
And also,
what's that?
So why are they moving them?
Because they're basically getting rid of the death penalty slowly. Like, there's a moratorium on it, and they're getting rid of death row at San Quentin to, like, word is that they're making it into like college dorms or something like that for inmates, like former death row.
It's called the Norway Project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's where college dormitories, single cells. Yeah. Yep.
Scott Peterson's still in San Quentin?
Have I been there?
It's Scott Peterson still there.
Oh, this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he's down on B Yard.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Hey, have you ever met when he was alive, have you ever met Manson, Tex Watson, or Bruce Davis?
Tex Watson I did. I was his next door neighbor down on B Yard for about 5 years.
What was he like?
He was all right. He portrayed to be a Christian and going to church every day and reading the Bible every day and everything. And he pretty much tried to get pen pals and stuff and having people write to him and stuff. That's not what he's doing every day.
I get emails from their people every week.
Yes. Yep. Very true.
And it's always about his ministry that he's doing.
His ministry, yep, I know, yeah, I know, I heard all about
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, so, yeah, and let me see, who else? Oh, also Patrick Carney.
Oh, okay.
He's down in CPC, but I've known him for quite a few years.
Yeah, he's old now. He's like 86, 87 now, something like that, isn't he?
86, yeah, 80 college degrees, like oh my God, the whole walls are covered.
Yeah, he's really smart. Intelligent. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I know. So, yeah, so now you know what happened with me.
Mm.
And yeah, and there's not a day that don't go by that I regret ever doing something with this guy. You know, every morning and every night I think about this, and I've done that now going on 45 years. And I said, oh my God, what in my life happened? And my mom and dad passed away just recently, so I pretty much lost all my family members over all this. Mm-hmm. You know, so yeah, I had, yeah, it's, yeah. So, yeah, I know.
Anybody else for a support system?
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. What did she say?
Do you have anybody else in your life that acts as a support system?
There's been a couple people that's tried to do like a podcast on my behalf, trying to advocate for my release. A guy named Jeff Sample is one of them. One of them, and but I've had a couple of people write and try to do write letters on my behalf to judges and stuff, trying to get me out because they know that I was railroaded into court, as they say, and they go, "Come on, I was taking advantage of the justice system. I'm not responsible for. I didn't do any underlining offense to anybody. I was there. I have no problem admitting I was there, but I was under orders from this man. I was scared to death. I was an 18-year-old kid, and one thing everybody has to understand: if 45 or 21 or 45 other people could stop this man, what makes the world think that an 18-year-old wet behind his ears, 100-pound kid could do that? Impossible. This guy's been in Vietnam. He killed two people in the Marines on Camp Pendleton. You know, he was responsible for that. He's done a lot of stuff. I mean, yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. Somebody asked if there was any contact with Richard Ramirez ever.
Okay, I barely heard you. What did she say,
Andrew? Did you ever come in contact with Richard Ramirez?
No, I never did. I never got an opportunity to see him or talk to him.
That's probably a good thing.
Okay, I'm sorry. What is okay? What
she said that's probably a good thing. Have you ever come in contact with Scott Peterson?
No, not yet.
What about Charles Ng?
Or Charles Ng?
Charles who? No, not yet.
He should be leaving death row. I think he's on death row, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's on death row.
I thought so.
Yeah, so Charles Ng, yeah, he probably went somewhere else, probably Chino. A lot of them went down to Chino. That's where a lot of them went to.
Yeah, I talked to a few of them, and like I talked to Richard Allen Davis and Chester Turner and a few others that have been moved.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Oh yeah, a lot of them because a lot of them, when you're a single cell like that in Quentin, they have to put them in a single cell and another facility. So the only one that's like that, they send them down to Cheeto, which is it's like an like single cell status until they can bring their points down and generate them slowly into populations of different prisons if their behavior is if they're willing to behave.
Wow.
Tina, what prison are you at right now?
Oh yeah, never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. I was wrong.
Mill Creek. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was San Quentin or not. That's why I asked.
No, Mill Creek State Prison. Yep.
Or Max.
I'm in a medium security section. I'm in a level 2 inmate, which is dormitory living. So I'm in a medium, very medium secure area. Because I don't get in trouble. Out of 45 years, I've had only a few minor infractions, and I've never had a fight. I don't drink. I don't use drugs. I don't play any of that stuff. I'm against it. I just try to get along with everybody that I can, and I treat everybody fairly and decent. That's the way I've been all my life. I don't like violence, and I try to respect everybody 1,000,000%. That's the way I've been all my life.
What was the family support through all of this? Did they continue support or turn their back, or how'd that work?
When I was in LA County Jail, they totally disowned me. As soon as I got, right after about a year after I got, the minute I was forced to plead guilty, the family cut me loose. Said I should have took it to jury trial and see what the jury said. The minute I pled guilty, they cut me straight loose. I shouldn't have. Yeah, I regret ever doing something stupid like that for something that I didn't do. And they straight up cut me loose.
Wow. Was the charge the charge wasn't always second degree, was it?
It was no. It was always second degree. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't sound like much of a deal.
Yeah, that's not a deal. That was not a deal. Like I said, had I known for sure 1,000,000% that this was a life sentence, I'd have never. No way. No. I would have told you, Your Honor, no, you guys can beat me up all you want. I'm not pleading guilty to something that I didn't do. And that's what I would have told the judge. And it had been on court record, so then if I would have said something, then maybe they probably wouldn't have been able to do it. But it's in my sentencing transcript. It says right there, right in there, where I said I pled. You have 60 seconds remaining. I wanted to withdraw my plea. So that was, So now you know what happened.
Wow.
You can call right back.
So, actually, no. They're waiting on the phones.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So, text me. Both of you text me if you have any more questions, if you can, and we can set up another hearing.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. All right. Y'all take care. I love y'all, and talk to me soon.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, Tina.
Okay. Bye. Okay. Bye. And please text me.
I will.
When you get a chance.
I will.